So, Ty, imagine you're a business leader. You've invested in data lakes, ETL, dashboards, and still something feels off. Data's fragmented. Agents give you answers without any context. Security is always hovering as a risk. Now, imagine something comes along and says, here's your unified data foundation, real-time maps, able to mirror Oracle and BigQuery into your lake, plus a graph-like engine to connect the dots that you didn't even know existed.
John, I'd say that sounds like sci-fi, but actually, welcome to FabCon Vienna 2025. Microsoft just dropped a whole slate of new capabilities into Microsoft Fabric. And guess what? Today, we're going to take you through some of the biggest announcements and, more importantly, what they can unlock for you. Plus, there's stuff no one else is talking about and where we find real value. So, John, why don't you kick us off, mate?
Yeah. All right, Ty. So first, what is Microsoft Fabric at this point? It's no longer just analytics, okay? It's an end-to-end data and AI platform. Microsoft are aiming for AI readiness, not just having the data, but having it organized, connected, secure, and actionable.
And do you know what? Because, well, let's say, as Jessica Hawke put it, we've moved beyond data unification to organization at FabCon. The experiments are all done. Now, enterprise want agents, reasoning, live context. Fabric is being positioned as the foundation to make that absolutely 100% real.
Absolutely. I tell you what, Ty, why don't we pull out some of the biggest advances from everything that's come out of FabCon that's been announced, and then maybe we'll break down what some of those problems are that they actually solve. Should I jump into the first one, Ty?
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay, so OneLake Shortcuts and Mirroring, the new sources, Oracle, Google, BigQuery. So we can now mirror data from Oracle and BigQuery into OneLake in near real time as it stands. Shortcuts are there to let us connect to external storage, such as Azure Blob, without any real copying. So, and also kind of transforming those JSON Parquet into Delta tables. That's done automatically now. And really what that means is there's less duplication, lower latency, more consistency. So, if you've got data living in Oracle or BigQuery, you can bring it into your Fabric universe with fewer manual jobs, Ty, right? So less delay, really good for analytics accuracy, much faster decisions, right? What have you got?
Number one for me is graphing Fabric. So a graph database inside Fabric that lets you model relationships between entities. So think customers, partners, supply chain, etc. So what's the benefit? Well, which suppliers are indirectly impacted by a logistic node failing, for instance, or which customers can share risk factors via partner relationships. So it makes risk, fraud, and dependency mapping a whole bunch easier. Insights that were just too hard and you were never going to get there, you can absolutely do it today. What's yours, John?
Oh, next up for me, Ty, maps in Fabric. It's actually quite pertinent to a conversation I'm having right now as it happens. But that ability to put geospatial location aware analytics straight into your Fabric instance. So it's got streaming and modeling. So you can really bring location information into all of your Fabric insights. It should go without saying, but for any business with any of those kind of physical presence, those logistics, retail, field service, utilities companies, this is going to offer superior visibility, right? So things like route optimization, supply chain visibility, and emergency response type requirements, heat mapping of your customer behavior by geography. It's going to be revolutionize how we use Fabric, Ty. What's next for you?
That's pretty cool, that is. So for me, it's all around developer experience upgrades. So think extensibility toolkits, for instance, or MCP. So we've covered this before. That's Model Context Protocol or Fabric Verse Code extensions. So in simple terms, more tools to build within Fabric, which means that we can build custom apps, automate and integrate with all the developer tools that you already love within GitHub and so on and so forth. So what's the actual benefit? Less friction between teams. Teams that can collaborate and deliver faster, better features, better governance, less errors. So it means that, for developers in really, really large organizations, it becomes easier and more agility to move forward, reduce silos, delays, and more importantly, reduce cost overruns. So what's your next one, John?
Next one for me wouldn't be an update really without any kind of security and governance updates, I think, Ty. So let's delve into some of the really great announcements around that. So we've got new features like Azure Private Link for Fabric, outbound access protection for Spark, for example. Workplace IP filtering has gone into preview. We can bring customer managed keys now to Fabric, surge protection, on background jobs and workspaces. Also enhancements around migration from sign up performance directly in warehouses. It's phenomenal, Ty. These are all things that are really essential when we're looking to scale and securely scale and meet those complex compliance and regulation requirements that we've all got in our businesses, so we can make sure all our data is going to stay secure in a hybrid capability or in a multi-cloud use, avoiding really any expected costings, protecting against those kind of traffic spikes. Really the business can now move those critical workloads into Fabric with even more confidence. Type. Go on, then. Should we go for one more? What you got?
Yeah, one more. So I would say partner and interop enhancements. So if we think around partner solutions, whether that's Snowflake or RESTing APIs or anything like that, then ultimately it means that for you as a customer, if you're already a Snowflake user, if you're already using partner tools, the integration is almost seamless. So that means you've got more flexibility. It means that you're not locked into one vendor. It means that you can mix and match tools, but more importantly, you can leverage your existing investments. So it means that you're saving your money while you're getting advancements in technology.
Amazing, Ty.
Cool. So what about if we think around some of the challenges? So we've heard around all the announcements, which are great. But what are the real blockers, John, especially in the business, and how do we solve them? Do you want to do a quick run through of perhaps your top three?
Yeah, really good point, actually, Ty. I think it's all great banging on about all the great advances, which, are clearly there. But I think it's also good to call out maybe some of those kind of objections. So look, let me kick things off. First off, latency and data silos, right? So businesses are often wasting time moving data, just to get those fresh insights. They experience reporting lags, dashboards are stale. Often the decisions are based on yesterday's data, right? So with mirroring shortcuts, OneLake integrations directly are going to reduce those lags. So you're going to get, more freshness, more real-time insights. Okay, so really some of these announcements have helped to kind of get rid of some of those latency and data silo type issues. Next, if we look at the complexity and developer overhead, you just said a whole heap of things there, Ty. So, when every team has got its own stack, dev tooling, maybe they're mismatched, maybe there's some governance risks. I don't know. Deployment chaos is usually the thing, right? With the MCP announcements, the extensibility toolkits, and now the CI/CD support, we're going to be able to bring that standardization and automation into the business flow with more predictable outcomes. And I guess, Ty, the final area, let's go back to the good faithful security and compliance risks. Okay, so as that scale grows, it's not unusual that when you move from pilot to an enterprise grade system, those regulatory and privacy audit and data sovereignty issues, they become huge headaches, right? So the new security controls have just been announced at FabCon, including private link, IP filtering, CMKs, customer managed keys. They're going to give all of those kind of guardrails that matter in real world mission critical scenarios, right? So, at the end of the day, let's try and make it concrete, Ty. Maybe can you give me a couple of real world examples that you picked up from FabCon this year?
Absolutely. So the first one, let's think. Let's talk around retail and field operations. So picture this. You run a chain of stores and you've got a delivery fleet. Before today and historically, data about customer footfall, inventory, delivery times, had all been different systems. So what had happened if you wanted to optimize delivery? Very, very difficult. You'd have no control over where stock is, very difficult. It all becomes very, very manual, very, very historic, very, very looking backwards. The data insights is nearly zero. Now, with Fabric Maps and OneLake Mirroring and Graph, you can see live inventory as it's being used, as it's being called off, and as it's being sold. Delivery delays are happening in store. You can see if you've got overstocked stores, understocked by geography, and how you can manipulate your supply chain to work harder, faster, and better for you. So knowledge making and making informed decisions become less reactive and more proactive. So that's got to be a good thing. The second one would probably be around financial and risk organizations or compliance organizations. So, how about tracking complex relationships like counterparties, indirect exposure, reg risks? Well, Graph helps map all these dependencies, private links, customer managed keys, all with data security. So audit trails and governance features allow full compliance across all the framework, and mitigation tools from Synapse making shifting to this new foundation absolutely 100% smoother, easier, quicker, and obviously better for the organization. Okay, so John, let's do a quick deep dive. Or what are the hidden golden nuggets that you've seen from FabCon?
No, great point. Yeah, I did pick up a few actually, Ty. So, a couple of golden nuggets from all the announcements, and there have been some fantastic announcements. So, these are features people might have overlooked, but can really yield a lot of leverage, right, in your organization. So, first off, the OneLake diagnostics feature, take a look at that. You can track workspace data activity and storage operations. So, it's going to really help with those cost controls and auditing requirements. Many organizations overspend or don't really realize which jobs and storage are eating right into their budget. So, do take a look at that OneLake diagnostics. Next up, golden nugget around surge protection for those background jobs and workspaces. So if you've got those varying workloads, things like marketing campaigns and end of month closeouts, things like that, unexpected spikes can really burst into your capacity. Okay, so this is really going to give you control over that risk with surge protection. Take a look at it. Finally, number 3 for me, integration with Snowflake. Ty, you called it out, and Iceberg with that REST catalog of APIs there. Why does this matter? So if we've already built all the data out in Snowflake, or you've got an external party using it, this is really going to help avoid locking into those vendors, and it allows a lot more clarity and ease those hybrid workflows, Ty. So look, I guess, from your point of view, what's the big breakthrough, and why is all of this interest to any businesses?
Yeah,
What do you think on that front, Ty?
that's a great question. So when I put all this together, I'm thinking maybe that the biggest breakthrough is this. So Microsoft Fabric is now the AI ready, scalable, secure backbone of enterprise data. It's not just a reporting tool, it's not just a dashboard layer, but where your data, analytics, AI agents, which is going to be massive, and governance all converge together. So think of it like this. In the past, firms, organizations, they all built different data stacks. Now they need a data ecosystem, systems that support agents, context relationships, speed, governance, security, all in one, all together. So what Microsoft's just announced is a shift to Fabric from being a candidate in that race to actually the only person in that race.
It's amazing stuff, Ty. Yeah, some really fantastic things going on at the moment. So we should probably also flag what you need to be careful about, right? So you can really adopt smartly. So I guess on that front, some of the key points I picked up from the announcements were around, look, preview versus generally available. Okay, so not everything has gone GA now. All these fantastic things that we're talking about, some of those features are still in preview, or they may be limited to certain regions. So look, if you want to jump in, please do plan that and prioritize any pilots accordingly. Okay. Next, gotcha. Cost control. Don't forget, there's far more capabilities. There's real-time mirroring, etc. This can all lead to unexpected storage compute costs. Okay, so use the diagnostics capacity management tools to make sure that you don't bust your budgets. Okay. And last off, organizational readiness. Your culture, your teams, the governance standards all need to catch up with some of these announcements. Okay, so having the tools is one thing, and using them well is a complete different thing. So just make sure that you're very well aware of that. What do you think, Ty? What should our viewers be doing next to catch on this wave?
Yeah,
and not get rolled over by it, Ty.
yeah, I'd probably boil it down to four things. So, number one, audit and understand your data estate. Figure out where your silos are, which systems are still disconnected, where lags and leaks in data causes delays or errors. So that's number one. Number two, try a pilot. Maybe mirror a key external data source into OneLake. I don't know, build a graph-based insight for one domain. Think around if it's like a partner risk or supply chain issue, and then add maps if locations matter, but get an understanding of what it's like. Number three, validate security and compliance early. We've already talked around this a little bit before, but if you're going to make any move to mission critical data or workloads, test first of all that your new security features in your environment adhere to your policies and how you want them. See how CMKs, private links, outbound protection, and all that good stuff works within your own personal constraints. And then number four is also a big one that's always missed. Train and enable your team. All right. So make sure your data teams, dev, security, management, and everybody else in between understand the new capabilities for what's available, and how it works and what it means for them. So maybe, I don't know, a workshop or a hackathon, or maybe a hackathon like FabCon did. But yeah, that's what I'd recommended. What
No,
about you,
absolutely
John?
tight. Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say, the kicker here really is these aren't just nice extras, right? These are very fast becoming the baseline expectations for those high performing AI powered organizations. So if you're not going to move now, you're not the scale, but somebody else is going to do it instead of you, right? So you'll be playing catch up. Jump on these things now straight away is my advice. At the end of the day, FabCon Vienna 2025 didn't just give us all these new features, but it's really handed us a brand new lens. Data not as a static, but as a living, connected, contexted, as agents, as decision makers. If you lean into these capabilities, your business isn't just going to report, it's going to anticipate, it's going to adapt, and it's going to act on that data, Ty. What do you think?
Absolutely. So the question is, are you ready to turn Fabric from an investment into your powerhouse for insights and actions?
Yeah, absolutely, Ty. Really great stuff from FabCon. So I guess we'll call it there. That's it all for today's episode of AzBytes. Thanks for riding through all these updates with us.
Yeah, and if you found this value, hit subscribe, share with your data teams, drop us a comment, what announcement excites you the most, or what use cases you want to dig into next. And remember, FabCon is in Barcelona next year, so hopefully we'll see you there.